Want to call to order the Finance Committee meeting for October the 1st, 2018. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of September 17, 2018.
After review of the minutes, are there any corrections or additions?
Move the approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 1 passed. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments September 13th, 2018 through September 26th, 2018.
Do we have a report from the Purchasing Committee?
We did not have enough for a quorum tonight, but we did discuss some of the complaints, some of the council members that wasn't able to attend the meeting. Did have a couple of questions, and I do appreciate the staff attending to those questions, and I would recommend approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 2 passed. Item number 3.
Consider awarding a construction contract to the low bidder, Cooks Consulting LLC, for the Port Lift Station number 4 replacement in the amount of $999,000, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Riley?
Yes, this is the 4th lift station along the river. It's in the actual port. We previously awarded 3 lift stations that are under construction. This one was not able to be bid at that time because of environmental issues. Those have been cleared up. We worked with the port to get a better location to get the environmental issues taken care of. So we put this one out to bid by itself. It's under budget, a good bid, and we recommend approval. It's the OWRB loan money. So.
Any questions for Mr. Riley? Entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this item. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 3 passed. Item number 4, please.
Consider awarding a construction contract to the low bidder, Cooks Consulting LLC, for the Haskell Boulevard drainage improvements in the amount of $50,732, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Riley?
Yes, this is an area where we've had some problems with some major sinkholes between houses. You see it's in Circle Acres at the end of Haskell Boulevard. It's a one pipe from the street between the houses back to the creek. It's completely deteriorated. It's a tin horn, and what we're going to do is you can't really see in that picture, but it actually goes partially under a swimming pool. We're going to lay a new pipe beside it and fill the one that's there with concrete, and it'll correct the problem with the huge sinkholes in that area. We're doing this with the stormwater funds, and we recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this item. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 4 passed, and with the passing of that item, that is the final item for the Finance Committee.
We'll now call the Public Works Committee meeting to order, October the 1st, 2018. Item number 1.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of September 17th, 2018.
Everybody's had time to review the minutes. Are there any questions regarding minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston.
Yes.
Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Derek Reed.
Yes.
Dan Hall.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2.
Consider approval of the appointment of Darrell Russell to serve a 3-year term on the Planning and Zoning Commission, replacing Mark Luttrell, beginning October 1, 2018, and ending on September 30th, 2021, or take other necessary action.
This would be Mayor Coburn's recommendation. Does somebody know Mr. Russell?
Mr. Russell served, I know, on several committees. He's really, really busy in the community doing a lot of things. He's coming off of one committee, as a matter of fact, so I know he's looking for other things to do. So I'd recommend approval.
Second.
For approval. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other questions regarding this recommendation? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston?
Yes.
Marlon Coleman?
Yes.
Wayne Johnson?
Yes.
Ivory Van?
Yes.
Derek Reed?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item number 3.
Consider approval of the appointment of Alex Reynolds to serve a 3-year term on the Historic Preservation Commission, replacing Joel Cousins, beginning October 1, 2018, and ending September 30th, 2021, or take other necessary action.
Counselor Stout.
Alex has a great knowledge of the downtown Muskogee history, and I think he'll be a great asset to this board. So I'd recommend approval.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any questions regarding this recommendation? Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston?
Yes.
Marlon Coleman?
Yes.
Wayne Johnson?
Yes.
Ivory Van?
Yes.
Derek Reed?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Item number 3 passes. Item number 4.
Consider approval of the appointment of Dr. James Baker to the Muskogee Wellness Initiative for a term beginning October 1, 2018, and ending September 30, 2022, or take other necessary action.
Deputy Mayor Boydston.
Yes, Dr. Baker has been involved in the wellness initiatives around here for a long time, and he has agreed to this. And so I move that he be appointed to the Muskogee Wellness Initiative for a term from October 1 today, ending September 30, 2022.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions regarding that recommendation? Appreciate Dr. Baker serving in that capacity. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Janie Boydston?
Yes.
Marlon Coleman?
Yes.
Wayne Johnson?
Yes.
Ivory Van?
Yes.
Derek Reed?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Item passes. Item number 5.
Receive a report of the city streetlight system from OG&E and take other necessary action.
Assistant Manager, Mr. Stewart.
Yes, here to, and by the way, Mr. Reed, glad to see you back on committee. That's very heartwarming to see you up there. So,
Glad to be back. Thank you.
but here to introduce Tim Thompson from OG&E. He's going to give a report on the street lighting program, and then Mr. Riley and myself will assist with any questions you might have after his report.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Well, thank you for having me here today. Thanks, council, staff, for giving me this opportunity to talk. So, what I was wanting to discuss is the street lighting program that OG&E has with the city. So, it's considered the municipal roadway and area lighting. So, OG&E maintains the lighting infrastructure for the city, and it's under the municipal lighting tariff. So basically, what the street lighting is, it's a year-round dusk to dawn outdoor lighting, and it's light up the highways, the streets, other public thoroughfares, and municipal parks. It does not include athletic fields or a swimming pool. Muskogee has 3,069 street lights on their account. And these lights, they do not include security lights or lights that are atop the traffic signals or lights in alleys, typically. There could be a few in the alleys, but typically those are considered security lights. So the way we report the streetlight outages, and outages reported to OG&E customer service. We like to include a good address or maybe an intersection to identify where it's at. OG&E customer service creates what we call our work order number. And some of the things we just recently put into place to try to make sure that those lights were getting reported and work order tickets were made was whenever the city is, the PublicWorks is, when they're the ones that are reporting the outage, I've asked that they carbon copy me on that email, and then also that we get a return email with that work order number for the light that has an outage. Our process for repairing the light, when the ticket is assigned to a truck, and we give it's a grading system. We give our individual 10 business days to repair the light. If he goes out and determines it's a bad underground wire, we will turn that over to our contractor, and we give them 10 business days to repair the light, repair the wire. Whenever they leave, the light should be working. They're instructed to have it working whenever they finish their portion.
So it could be up to 20 days for that.
It could be. So whenever the first individual goes out and looks at the light, he'll look at it, try to determine what's wrong with it. When he determines it's an underground, yes, then it gets 10 days. So if he was there in 5 days, then it'd probably be 15 days.
Right.
So,
I was just asking in case when residents call and they want to know why isn't it happening right away. You know, they need to know that it could take up to 20 business days for it to get done.
Yeah, there's other circumstances. If it's materials, sometimes we'd have trouble getting materials, especially if it's more of a unique type light. Some of the lights in the city are quite old,
right,
and we got a variety of different types. As you can see, in 2017, there was 389 work order tickets made. Typically, that could be one light. Typically, they are one light. We usually will try to make a work order for each individual location for sure. Some of them could have been strings of lights where you might have 2 or 3 right together. 75% of those were worked in 5 business days. In 2018, from January to August, we've had 264 work order tickets. Again, 75% of those were worked within 5 business days. In September this month, we've had 86 lights reported. We've been working on those since they was reported as, and we've got 45% of those completed. So we had a backlog there. We had an issue getting the lights reported, getting to us getting the work order tickets back. And that was part of those controls we talked about earlier about having the emails, having me carbon copied on them, and having a work order ticket returned. So that is basically the program we have in place now. As you've seen in one of the first slides, that tariff for the municipal lights has been closed. It was closed in July 1st this year. OG&E is migrating to a LED light program. So all new lights moving forward would be LED lights. We will start installing those in November. We have training and that's going to take place this month. Those lights will have smart sensors on them that will notify OG&E of an outage. So any new lights moving forward, that smart sensor communicates with our system. It will send a ticket directly to the truck to tell the individual that they need to go repair that light. They are also not components. If the light's bad, we take the whole head down and put a new one up. Just the new technology. We figure it's going to take us five years to do the LED conversion for the city. So that's pretty much all I've got. Entertain any discussion.
I'll be recognized, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Yes, I was wondering, like on South Main and North Main, one night Mr. Boston called me, and I went up and down North and South Main. And what I did was, I put this yellow tape, well, I got some white tape now, and I put it on each pole. And then I called PublicWorks, Mr. Stewart or Mr. Miller, so they could call PublicWorks and to identify where that light was. Okay, like where the bank is. His question was, like the lights by the traffic lights, we got lights, right over the traffic lights. I think either they wasn't working properly, or they couldn't get parts for them, or they didn't want them by the traffic lights.
Sure.
Mr. Van, as Mr. Thompson pointed out, the lights that are on top of the signal poles are actually not OG&E's responsibility. Those are the city's. And we are currently working with Signal Tech, who does our traffic signal maintenance, to get all those lights back up. And we're going to replace all the lights on Main Street probably within the next 30, 45 days. The financial part of it's already been satisfied. We have parts ordered, and we are going to have Signal Tech do the work. But the lights on top of the signal poles are actually the city's. And those were turned out many years ago when we were turning lights out all over town to save money. And then when we did have the lights turned back on, those lights didn't come back on. And when they didn't, and we discovered they were ours, it was a decision based on financial responsibility not to put them back in service because of the amount of money. I think we were looking at somewhere around $40,000 at that time to get them repaired. We have since came up with a better plan. Mr. Miller's helped us with the financial aspects of it, and hopefully in the next 45 days you'll see them back on Main Street. And then budgetary-wise, we're going to try to put the rest of them back up as we can, so we're going to continue to work on all the ones on top of the signal poles. Signal Tech, although, does need to do that work because the wiring does go up through that control box and through that signal. So we want to make sure that we do them properly and we don't interrupt the signal service. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Another thing, Mr. Thompson, these communities, we have lights that's, trees are growing around them. Whose responsibility is that?
If they're in the electric lines, in the main electric lines, we would trim the main electric lines, but we don't trim any trees on private property, on a citizen's property. Much like the service line that runs from the pole to the meter to the house, those are not. We will not trim those lines. During a storm and outage, we will go out and cut any fallen trees on those lines. We will cut them off, but we will not remove those. So around a street light or security light, that is the responsibility of the property owner.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. Down on Junction, just before you go around the curve to go to airline, we got a street light right there, and branches is always covering that light. So it's right on the right-of-way. So I don't see how that would be the citizen's responsibility when you got limbs growing all around that light, or a bunch of lights like that in Muskogee, my ward.
Then I guess if the city would want to clean up the right-of-way, that'd be your option, be their option also. But we have a trimming program to trim where our high voltage lines are, and that's what our program is.
So when we got the lights on the tree limbs around the lights, that's not your responsibility, that's ours, correct?
Mr. Van, I'll be glad to go take a look at that, and if that's something we need to get urban forestry to look at, we'll be glad to do that. Was not aware of that one. If you've told me, I've forgotten it.
I know, but I ain't told you about this one.
Well, we'll be glad to look at that. We want to make sure that the lighting that we're providing is adequate and lighting these intersections as it should. So that's something we'll address.
I'll turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Tim, we've had some of these lights that's been out for over 20 days. What would be the explanation on some of those? I mean, some of them on our main intersections and thoroughfares that are not on those intersections have been out for 6 months.
Yeah, there was, like I said, we did have some reporting issues where we was getting those. Basically, it was the emails were not getting through, and didn't have any controls in place. I think there was no indication that they weren't getting through. So I think that's probably going to be part of the 86 lights that I talked about when we identified them, and we're working to get those fixed.
So what process can we put in place? And I guess what I'm kind of going back to, I think in the city of Muskogee, we've established, and we're still working through our process in the city of Muskogee, but I think you continue to refine where our customers in the city of Muskogee can go online, report a problem, and it sends back to them what the status is and where it's at. Mm-hmm. And again, we're still refining our process and finding errors in our ways also, but it gives you something that's going on. The challenge with calling OG&E, that's all you've got. You reported it, but if you don't hear anything for 6 months, you don't know what's going on, and you don't know what the status is, and all we know, we're in the dark in some of these areas. Is there any way, my optimum as a city councilor, I'm just speaking from one person, is if we could some way have a link on our website that we could link to OG&E, and it would be seamless for our customers, and I'm talking about me as a city councilor, our customers, our community, where they seamlessly didn't see a change, where our customers in our community, they saw a street light and it just took them to OG&E and they could report an outage on a street light and they could get some response from OG&E of this is what the status is, this is where it's at. Do you see OG&E moving that direction, or what do you see in the future of OG&E?
Again, I have not had my training yet on the new LED lighting, but I was informed that there is, for one thing, the lights should be telling us when they're out. It may not always work, but I was understanding that there was going to be an app that you could pull up, and it would take the your location, and then it would identify it with a light or maybe even another issue. I don't know where that's at. I'll quiz and try to find out. As far as what the citizens could do, or yourselves or anyone else, anytime that you're going to report something, ask for the work order number, and that will always tie us right back to that. Even in the tariff, if after 5 days you've reported a light and it's not repaired, you have that work order number, call back in, call customer service, and they can give you an update on where we are, what the status of it is.
So it's best for that citizen to get that work order number and then to call back in with that work order number.
It's always best. That's the way we operate, is by work order ticket, work order numbers.
Thank you. Any other questions from council?
Yeah, I got one more question, Mr. Chairman. You know, the program is in Muskogee now where they're going around cutting the tree limbs off the electric lines. How is that process working, and what areas are they doing first, second, like that? Or you just have to call it in? How is that process working?
Our circuits are on a rotating basis. Every 8 years, we try to cut back enough growth to so it would take another 8 years for those trees to get back into the area where the line's at. I don't know exactly, what their pattern is. They typically will start on a circuit, and the circuit's being run from the substation as the lines that go out and feed the communities. So we'll work on those. Those circuits come up every 8 years.
Okay.
And I do appreciate you tying ribbons on the lights. Anytime it's helpful to for our guys to go out there. They typically were working during the daytime, so it's kind of tough for them sometimes if they don't have a good address to find the light that's not working.
Thank you. I'll turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I want to make one more point. We're continually working with Tim and OG&E, and we want to thank him for that because we're making progress on getting the lights up. But I want to also point out that the facilities department has done a real good job on getting the downtown street lights up. I'm very pleased to know that almost all of them work all the time now, and they're LEDs and they look very good. So we're continuing to work on this problem, and we know it's a problem that's going to continue to be there, and we're going to tell you we're just going to continue working at it. So thank you very much.
One more question, Tim. So from your knowledge with the LED program, it is OG&E's direction to move forward with changing the existing street lights?
Correct. So right now, any of your older technology is we're having difficulties now finding enough parts to fix those lights. So I anticipate that we will be moving fairly quick. Right now, our plan is that if we can go out and replace a bulb or a photocell, then we will continue doing that. But if there's anything major wrong with the light, we will go ahead and change it out to an LED.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's glad to hear that. I really do appreciate you coming tonight and letting us know what the status is on our lighting in Muskogee. I know Mr. Thompson helped me out with the school district, got me set up where I can know where outages are within the school, and that has helped me out tremendously. And I know that all the electronic communication that we can have when we know that, with Oklahoma weather, it changes. It changes. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Johnson, you guys may also have some other questions, but two things I want to point out. Number one, again, thanks to Tim for being very proactive. Once we started talking to him, he helped us identify ways we could be more efficient. Number two, we as a city have been very proactive as far as reporting lights. And the main thing is, unless we report the light as being out, it's not going to get changed. And so the citizens can do that. And I want to thank Chief Teehee, he's here tonight. The police officers have been very proactive, and they recognize it as an opportunity to improve public safety. They've reported a lot of these lights being out. So a lot of the 86 lights that have been reported have been from our police going the extra mile. So we're trying to find different ways to identify lights that are out so we can report them, because, again, until we report them, they aren't going to be able to go out and fix them. So I want to give extra credit to staff and the police officers in particular for doing that. And again, if we see a light out, it's still on us to make sure it gets turned in. So,
Really do appreciate the police department doing that. It is definitely a safety and security issue for our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Tim.
This is just a report, so it will not require a vote. We don't have any other public signed up to speak, so that will conclude our Public Works Committee. Thank you very much for attending tonight.